Hello everyone, my name is Jagan.tamirisa. I'm also joined by Ishan.anand. He's an immigration attorney and I'm the immigration manager. We both work for Chug LLP and combinedly we have over 20 years of experience doing immigration practice in the United States. We represent clients all over the US and overseas. So we are here to give you a short presentation on H-1B visa program. This is the first of the several videos that will come through. In this videos, we will try to explain to you the H-1B visa process and more about the myths regarding the program. So let's start away with few Q&As on about the H-1B visa program.
So Jagan, many questions we receive and we people keep asking us. I have a few questions with me, and people keep asking me that who is eligible for H1 status?
So the H-1B program is designed for people of all industries. So there is no limitation that only people from few particular industries, let's say most popular being engineering, medicine, are the only people who would qualify for that. We have seen across the years that this program can be utilized by people other than these two main industries. It can be utilized by pharmacists, it can be utilized by construction industry workers, it can be utilized by even small scale and small size stores, provided one is able to demonstrate the complexity in the job and the necessity to have a non-immigrant working on their premises. So it's very diverse program.
So companies keep asking that do we need to be like $1 million entity having 8 or 10 employees to be able to sponsor for an H1 visa?
Not really, no. There is no such regulatory requirement that a company should have an X amount of revenue or an X amount of headcount to qualify or even participate in the program. A new startup company, as long as it can demonstrate availability of work, can begin sponsoring employees soon upon completing the incorporation formalities. So there is no such regulatory requirement that one has to be a large entity to be able to be successfully petition for a non-immigrant.
Okay. Do I need a bachelor's degree to be able to come here in the US as an H1B?
Most position or all positions for that fall under the H-1B, the regulatory requirement is the person should either have a bachelor's degree or can demonstrate its equivalency through work experience. So if you have not have had any education or had some education which is not leading into a bachelor's degree itself, you can still combine that with your years of experience in the industry to qualify for the position, because USCIS will accept a combination of education and experience, or even if there is a lack of education, your complete experience to be equivalent to a bachelor's degree, provided it is given by a competent evaluation agency. There are several people who have qualified in this path, and this option exists.
So that means, if we say correctly, that means we need a bachelor's degree or its equivalent, which can be a mix of both.
Correct. It can be a mix of both, of academic and experience, or just experience itself.
Okay. So what's the time? When do you when can you apply for an H1B?
So the first H1 that always is to be filed is going to be called as the H-1B cap, and that program is going to begin in March. But employers must first create H-1B registrant account, and that they can begin from February 21st only. So you should go to my USCIS account and set up an account for yourself as an employer. but don't try that before February 21 because you will not have access to it. Come March 1st, the noon EST, you can begin enrolling your employees in the program, and you can do it, continue to do this through March 18th, 12 EST. So you don't have to register everybody all on first day itself. You can register them in batches if you have a large number of people, or you can register all of them in one day between March 1 and March 18th. Just keep in mind that it doesn't matter if you register them on the first day or the last day or somewhere in the middle. Nobody knows what the selection criteria is and how the USCIS picks these people from the lottery program. So it doesn't matter on which day you register.
How much does it cost for me? Suppose if a company wants to register multiple employees, so how many employees can a company sponsor in one cap season, and how much does it cost?
So the USCIS did not limit an employer to a X number of employees that can register, meaning you can register as many as you want, 100,000 or beyond. It's up to you. It depends on how many positions you have available for your company. You can register them as many as you want, and the fee is only $10 per applicant this year, and it's expected to increase to $250 per applicant from next time onwards. So for now, you will only pay $10 per applicant.
And how much time does it take?
Registration is a very simple process. It shouldn't take more than 5 minutes if you have all the right set of information in front of you.
And then the process, suppose I am picked up in the lottery and I have, so employer, starts the process. So how long does it take for the entire process?
So they accept all registrations, they being USCIS accepts all registrations from March 1 through 18. And then between March 18 and March 31st, they do the random selection process. And then they release the results out. The results are not sent by email. You should go back into the USCIS account once you get a notification from USCIS that there is a change been made in your USCIS account. That's the email you're gonna get from USCIS, that there's a change made in your account, which means they have started and completing the registration selection process. You go back into the system, and then you can see selected amongst the names of people who actually got selected in the system. And then they give you 90 days starting from April 1, 2023 onwards to file your case, which means you should file your case on or before June 30, 2023.
Okay, suppose we file our case today, so how long does it take for me to get an approval?
Well, the general trend we have seen is most employers don't file their cases until June, and I think that's a bad idea. You would want to do it as soon as you get selected, because if you file early, there's a good possibility your H1 gets approved by September 30, and then from October 1st onwards, you can start working. But if you end up filing in June, then what happens is there's a huge backlog of cases remaining that remains to be processed, and then you have to move to a premium processing or some other method where you shell an extra $2,500 to the US government to process your case. So if you file April, it's expected that you may get your decision in 60 to 90 days time frame. Then that's only an expectation, but it's possible. But if you file your case in June, then you will see a more prolonged processing time frame extending to at least 6 months.
Who pays the fee? Is like employer liable for the fee, or I am liable for the USCIS fee and attorney fee?
Well, the USCIS will not tell you that. It's the Department of Labor that actually lays down the rules on how to allocate the cost on filing the H-1B, and the rule is very clear. Any fee related to preparation and filing of the H-1B must be borne by the employer. The employee cannot even pay a single dollar towards that process. It has to be borne by the employer.
Okay, so basically you are saying it's a myth that you have to be a big corporation to file for an H-1B.
That's correct.
You can be a small business as long as you require or the job requires specialty uh, worker with minimum of a bachelor's degree,
That's
meaning
correct.
the job is so technical that it requires a specialized knowledge worker with a bachelor's degree. You may be qualified to file an H-1B petition, right?
That is correct. So you don't have to be 100 employee or a 500 employee company. Even if you're a 3 employee company or a 2 employee company, you can file for an H1 as long as you can demonstrate availability of work or the necessity to have a non-immigrant in your workforce.
Most important question that they ask me, they come to me and they say, okay, we don't have that much revenue, we don't have $1 million revenue, we don't have profitability, that much profitability. Can a startup which is just started, can a startup file an H-1B?
Absolutely. The regulations don't really mandate profitability. However, financials can be seen on one side as an ability to pay the salary. I mean, obviously, if you're just a startup and you just started, the operations, then they want to know how you're going to pay that salary. So, you could show this through your capital contributions, any liquid assets that can be turned into cash to pay the salary and any other resources, or any existing contracts through which you will get continuous flow of revenue into your company account. All those can be seen by the USCIS on the positive side that you can pay the salary, so there's no worry on that.
Suppose I am a startup and I have contracts signed up with my vendors, and I want to hire people from India on H-1B who will work for these vendors, so I can file H-1B even without getting $1 of revenue as of today.
Yes, you can, because you have an active contract, and the active contract shows that there is a possibility that the revenue will flow in from that particular active contract at some point of time, and that can be allocated I mean, it can be used to pay the salary at some point of time. So, as long as you can show a source of income, you should be able to clear the H-1B hurdle.
Okay, so this is Ishan, and here with me Jagan, and this is our pilot program. This is our pilot video where we have started talking about H1s and all other visa aspects. Uh, we will continue doing this, and we will come up with more videos. We will explain in details uh, myths and realities of different visa programs, H1s, L1s, adjustment of status. So keep on watching us and
Yes.
stay tuned. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Yep. Thank you.